So, I got a question for you, Bikeaholic. Do you like to save money? Yeah, that's right, I'm talking to you. We here at Law Abiding Biker Media love to save money too. We recently made an awesome discovery. We want to pass the information on to you. Because let's face it, Bikeaholics, the more money we save, the more we can buy to put on our bike. Put your frickin' helmet on, I'm coming at you hard. That's right, 40 to 65% off GoPro, Under Armour, Columbia Sportwear, Mountain Hardware, Sorel, Lifeproof, Otterbox, Backpackers Pantry, Crokies, and Crocs. That's right. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/discount. Again, that's lawabidingbiker.com/discount. Take advantage of these deals, Bikeaholics. We worked hard to make this possible for you. Oh, and share this page with all your friends. By simply going to save some money, you're also supporting lawabidingbiker.com, and we thank you in advance.
What's that?
Listen to any good podcasts lately?
I'm from the Nob Hill store, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
You know what
here.
podcasts are?
No.
Check them out. They're online radio shows on demand.
Huh.
Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you have an Android?
I have Android, but I have Apple products at home.
Well, yeah, but even if you have an Android, you can get podcasts anywhere. Just go get a Stitcher radio app. They're free. They're online radio shows, way better than this. I listen to them all the time. You can listen to them when you want, and anything you can, any hobbies you have or anything. There's radio shows for everything. Check it out.
Very cool.
Pretty
have
cool.
A great night.
All right, you too. That's right, guys. You too can make a difference. Next time you're out and about, strike up a conversation about podcasting. Help spread the word so everybody can get involved. And now, straight from the Law Abiding Biker Media Studio,
out of sunny Yakima, Washington,
we bring you another episode of the
#1 listen to motorcycle podcast.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
We're in your head.
Oh my gosh, if I got an episode for you folks, it's going to be freaking awesome. Welcome back, you freaking Bikeaholics. Love you guys out there. Love the listeners. Thanks so much. Of course, you know this is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM. That's right. Also known as the 99% taking over the motorcycle scene. That's right. I do got to ask one question, though, guys. What the freak are you waiting for? Mount up already. Let me take you on a wild-ass ride, huh? There we go, guys. I am Ryan Erlacher, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast, and of course, your high-tech redneck. Got a couple things I want to talk about briefly, and then we are going to dive into an interview. It is an awesome interview. Really, really stoked about having this content for you guys. But anyways, let me tell you just a little bit about it. So this whole, you guys know, because I've blogged about it and we've talked about it on the podcast, but you guys know about this, Jacksonville Beach, Florida, this Nippers bar shooting where a couple thugs from the Black Pistons, they're a 1%er club, they're a puppet club for the Outlaws. Anyways, the evidence clearly shows, we've talked about that this was an innocent biker from the Iron Order Motorcycle Club. Regardless of what you personally think about it, or if you're a naysayer, you know what? At the end of the day, you just look at it. Look at the blog I did, lawabidingbiker.com/63. The video's there. The evidence is there. But anyways, that's what this stems from. So, that particular Iron Order member had to protect his life with a firearm, and he did stop the threat and likely saved his own life. So that's what this spins off from. So back in June when this happened, I think it was June 26th, I reached out and, I hadn't had a lot of contact, if any. I guess I had a little with the Iron Order Motorcycle Club. They had ridden through my area, not my area, but the area I live in. And I had talked to them, a few of them. They were staying at a local hotel. And I've had just, we don't have a chapter here of that particular club, but always had, good impression, but it was very limited contact. So after this particular incident happened, I reached out. I believe I said it on one of our podcast episodes back when this first broke, back in June or July when I was talking about it. But anyways, I reached out and said, hey, this would be a good time for the Iron Order to get on board. You need to be transparent. This is not the time to be secretive. Get your message out there. Use this platform, guys. It's free. We all need to help each other. And, like I say, it's something you guys can do and direct your people to an episode or people interested in your club. I don't know why guys don't do it. Step up. But this particular individual, he did step up. And when I made out that call, he contacted me. Of course, we didn't want to talk a whole bunch because it was, we didn't want to interfere with the investigation, large-scale investigation going on down there in Jacksonville Beach. And so for obvious reasons, and I think I mentioned that in past episodes, he didn't particularly want to talk at that time, but let me know he would be more willing to talk after everybody let the police and the state attorney and all that do their job. So that being said, of course, it was ruled justified homicide, self-defense, whatever you want to call it, no doubt about it. But finally, now that it's done, we were able to talk, and his name is Ray Lubesky. He very, very knowledgeable, been in the motorcycle world a long, long time, and you'll be able to tell by the interview that he's very, very experienced and brings a lot of good points. But anyways, he goes by Izod, and he was the international president for many years and was one of the first 8 members of the Iron Order Motorcycle Club. So we got talking and just had a really good session and went here and there, learned a lot about the club. I will tell you up front that this, we are fair and balanced here at Law Abiding Biker, and I really, really try to be. With that Jacksonville deal, we stayed middle ground, even though he had contacted me, and I told him that, I'm not going to make any assumptions. I'm going to write what the evidence is at this point. I did blog about it. I did talk about the evidence at that point. I told him from the beginning, I want to wait. I want to see. I'm not saying regardless if it was a criminal biker club. I mean, yeah, assumptions want to be made, but I really didn't want to be that person. There's enough crappy blogs out there and idiots blogging about this stuff that nobody really reads anyways, except the dirtbags. But anyways, I wanted to remain fair and balanced and say, okay, let's wait for the evidence. Let's wait till the videos come out. Let's do all that. And certainly we did here. So, I told him that up front. And now that we have an interview, I want to let you guys know there are people out there, and I know I've received emails, but I haven't commented on it because I'm not educated on it. And that is particular emails about the Iron Order Motorcycle Club, because they do have some they're an edgier club. And I think Izod would tell you that that's correct. And you're going to hear that in the interview. They have some pictures out there. So, they have some videos and some of their music, and they're big, and they've got clubhouses, and, they're a bit different than a lot of law-abiding biker clubs, although, they claim, and I do believe that they are a law-abiding biker club based on my interview with Izod. I don't think they're just playing that game, and I think there's no evidence to the contrary of that, although people in certain lower walks of life want to believe those kind of things because it benefits them, and it's their particular goal or their particular vision for, what they're trying to accomplish. But you'll hear from this interview that I remain fair. And I asked him the tough question, guys. I remain fair and balanced. And I threw some questions at him about their image and about some of the things they do. But I think he's got explanations for that. And, but that's for you to decide. Again, this is the platform. And I think, and he knows it was really time to just, and they have been transparent. I really do believe that. They're huge. How can you not be transparent when you're that huge and you're all over the world internationally? It's not like you can hide. Their website's very straightforward and all that kind of stuff. But like I say, there are some things at first look, if you don't really get to know and listen to the interview, you'll just look and go, yeah, so whether you agree with that or not, there are some of those things, but I really encourage you to just listen to this interview and, make up your own mind. He's a real down to earth guy and really easy to talk to. And I really hope in the future that I'm going to get a chance on issues. Because, as we change here, guys, the law-abiding biker scene is taken over. There's just no doubt about it. I've told you guys that. We are the motorcycle majority. We rule the motorcycle world. We're not going to be told by anybody, what we can and can't do and what we can and can't wear. We're 99% of the population of bikers. So that goes without saying. But I want to have conversations with them in the future, and anybody else that wants to. I love talking about this stuff, and as things change, hit me up, and we'll get you on an episode. It's really easy. We could just do it via Skype and all that kind of stuff. So you guys get to listen in and you get to make up your mind. I think you're really, really going to enjoy it. All right, real quick, before we dive into that, I just want to thank a couple people, and we've got a donation. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Mike Van Epps of, I believe it's Rohnert Park, California. Shout out California listeners. If you want to donate, lawabidingbiker.com/donate. helps us keep bringing this awesome, rich, evergreen content to you that's going to be around for years and years to come. You can always reference back. New Patreons, thank you, everybody. The Patreon thing is starting to go good, and the more people hear about it, spread the word, guys. I want to thank Valerie Hambrock-Hinley. Thank you so much, Valerie. She became a patron, and also Winston Salvador of Amarillo, Texas. Shout out, Texas! All our Texas listeners, all our listeners all over the world. Please get involved with Patreon, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Really helps us out. Helps Lurch and us right now that are running it. It gives us something to look at. It gives us a foundation of kind of what we have coming in. And as you guys know, you can pledge a certain amount per piece of content with no risk because you can put a cap on it. It's so easy to do, guys. lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon. We just appreciate all the support and all that, guys. All right, with that said, I want to just dive right into this interview. Enough yakking, huh? All right, Ray, thanks. I really appreciate you being with us today. How are you?
I'm fine. And how are you doing out there?
Very, very good. Cold, 14 degrees up here, so not enjoying that.
82 here and bright sun.
Yeah, I know. You said it was like 85 today or something.
Yeah.
I envy you. Ray Lubesky is and correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the international president of the Iron Order Motorcycle Club.
Past international president. We have a new international president as of September 15th. So I'm now a Nomad founding member, Original 8. Enjoying life now.
Wow. So you don't hold any position now as far as a officer?
Correct.
Okay. Wow. How many years did you serve as the international president?
5 years. And then prior to that, 4 years as international vice president.
Okay. Wow. So let's just, you got the platform here, Ray, and I know we've emailed back and forth and we've talked back and forth. And I'll just tell the audience, I really didn't know who Ray was at all. I have had very little contact actually with the Iron Order MC just as they come through our area. There's not actually a chapter here, but I personally have never had a bad experience. And I know there's a lot of people out there. I have been asked questions, which I don't answer because I wasn't educated on them. But there are people out there in the law-abiding biker community that want to know more about the Iron Order and what they stand for. So I'm really excited to give you this platform and to answer, some questions and let us know what you're about. So Ray, just a little bit of background on you before the Iron Order came into your life.
I spent most of my professional life in the restaurant business. I was an executive level in several companies, even while we founded the club in 2004 in Louisville, Kentucky, and recently left the food business, kind of retired, got bored, and bought a small contracting company in Florida, where I now reside and enjoying life.
Are you technically retired or not?
No, I'm not. I got a company. My son runs it for me, and he keeps me semi-busy. But I out of the corporate world. Yeah, I'm retired from the corporate world.
What kind of bike you rolling on?
I've got three. I've got a 94 Sporty that I built into a old school chopper that they'll probably bury with me. My wife dragged that thing all around the country, but I just can't give that one up. And I've got a 2012 Heritage and a 07 Ultra. So when I go cross country, I use the Ultra. When I'm around town doing, a good long day's ride, I'll use my Heritage. And when I feel spunky, the hardtail comes out, and I bite my tongue as I ride down the road.
Yeah, I hear you. So we're just coming off of a decision down in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. We're just going to talk briefly about that. And I've done some in the past podcasts, which is how we kind of came in contact. And I found out you were very involved. Again, I thought you were still the international president, so that's how much I know. But so there was this shooting incident where somebody in your club, a prospective member, was brutally attacked. We've all seen on the video, and ended up shooting a member of the Black Pistons to protect his life. And without getting into any of that, guys, you can head over to, there's a blog I did on it, just lawabidingbiker.com/63. That's the episode that we're doing, looking into that investigation and everything. But so I know the club's, the Iron Order's been going through a tough time, and he was cleared, and it was considered self-defense. And if you guys read that blog and really look at the evidence that I attached there, you'll clearly see that there's no argument that it wasn't self-defense. So what can you tell us about that, or what are you willing to tell us on that, Ray?
Well, first of all, when anyone loses their life, it's a sad thing. It's not anything to be celebrating or be happy about. Our sympathies, our sorrow goes to the family of Zachariah Tipton, the Black Piston that was shot and killed. That's probably the biggest victims. They lost a loved one. We have heartfelt sorrow for them. We certainly wish that it didn't happen. We try to avoid these situations. It's not what we're about, certainly. It was an unfortunate circumstance, but I encourage everyone to go look at the state's attorney's office report. It's online. It's available. There's plenty of news coverage. Your blog's excellent. You hit every key point. Again, it's sad for the loss of life on one side, but on the other, we got to remember that we all have a right to self-defense. Our brother had to do what he had to do in protection of himself. He's a combat medic, veteran of Afghanistan, 2 tours, an active duty military. If anyone knows his life was in danger, he would. He sustained some pretty bad injuries, and we think he tried to do everything he could in restraint before he finally had to do what he had to do. We feel bad about the whole situation, and we're glad that it's behind us and we can move forward. It was the last thing that I had to manage in my office. I saw it through till the end, and I'm glad that we had the final outcome that it ultimately ended. Again, sorrow to the family and the loved ones that lost Zachariah.
Absolutely, and we've said that too. It's one of those situations that ended the way it had to end, but certainly we would never wish harm upon unknowing spouses and children and things like that aren't really involved with that. So without getting into his information too much, I just want to throw out there he's doing okay. Your member.
Oh, he's doing fine.
Good.
Yeah, he is, and he's still in the Army. He's soon to be deployed again to the sandbox. We're proud of him. Obviously, he's a hero. All of our boys coming back from that hellhole over there, protecting our freedoms and rights, putting their lives on the line so we can do podcasts like this and enjoy the lifestyle that we do as free-living Americans. The biker lifestyle we all enjoy. These boys put their asses on the line for us every day, and all of our brothers in the military, and they're all over the world and all over the United States doing their part. We're proud of them, and certainly we're proud of Chris.
Awesome, and God bless Chris for serving and all our. We always say that on this podcast. We really appreciate their service. So, speaking of military vets, your club. Let's start with it's a huge club. And I did some research on it, Ray, like I told you, but I purposely don't do too much because I feel like when I'm interviewing, I ask, better questions because I really don't know. Just like I, said international present, So how big are you guys? You're the biggest, you consider yourself law-abiding biker club. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
No claiming 1% status or anything like that.
No, God, no. We get asked this question a lot because we have a diamond with an 8 in it. It's predominant in a lot of our tattoos, a lot of our support wear. It's actually in our back patch in the center of what we call Jughead in our center patch. That diamond with the 8 is really to commemorate the first original founding members.
Okay.
Of which one. That's what that's about. But we have no desire to be in that world. We're farthest thing from it. What we share probably is bikes and a 3-piece patch. We are the largest 3-piece patch club in the world. right now. How big are we? We have about 350 chapters of Iron Order, and we have a club that we own. We don't call it a support club. They are our brothers from different mothers who ride sport bikes. So they're equal. They are our brothers in every way. And that is the Iron Rockets. And we have about 50 chapters of them. Our flag flies in 50 states. We have chapters, I think, in probably 47. The other 3, we have members who fly those state rockers, but we don't have full chapters. And we're in 10 countries. So we're pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. It's amazing and I want to dive a little deeper into that. As far as the military aspect, your membership, is it fair to say, we hear a lot, Ray, and you do too, and in the recent incidents, we hear a lot that the Iron Order MC is a cop club. It's a law enforcement motorcycle club. What say you to that?
First, call me Izod.
All right, Izod, that's right.
They don't know who Ray is.
Yeah, you're right. Izod, you're right.
Well, the Iron Order was founded July 4th, 2004. A group of guys got together in a garage. The original 8 makeup was a Secret Service agent, a Fed, 2 police officers, myself, another restaurant executive, a podiatrist, a line worker from Ford Motor Company, a transmission mechanic, and a guy who owned a motorcycle apparel shop. So we never were an LEMC or a cop club. We, from our first day, allowed law enforcement members, just like we allow military, truck drivers, doctors, teachers, lawyers, truck drivers, anybody and everybody. So it's not fair to say we're a cop club, although we do have law enforcement in the club. And, there's the mindset, well, if you have one cop, then you're a cop club. So we've been honest and straightforward from day one. We don't run like an LEMC. We have great relationships with a lot of LEMCs because we are law abiding and we do have law enforcement in our club, and we have a lot of law enforcement in our club. But we also have a lot of military. And just about every conceivable occupation you can think of. So that's the makeup and how we got branded that. And we live with it. There's not much you can do what others say about you. You just go on down the road.
And so, yeah, on that subject, Izod, you guys started the club. It wasn't meant to be a law enforcement motor club. It sounds like from the beginning, it was just what drew you all together to say, I'm certain that you all rode. Were you involved with another club and wanted to break off, or was this a new thing? Give us a little insight into that, if you would.
Interesting question. About 4 of the original 8 were actually members of the Blue Knights. Obviously not myself, but they broke away because, and I'm sure they all had their own personal reasons, but the consensus seemed to be that the Blue Knights is a great organization. They do great things, but it's a cop club. It's just an extension of their career. So, it's actually almost like a part of their job. They become cops on bikes, wearing a patch and whatnot. And they really didn't want to do that. They didn't want their career brought into their leisure time. And this was their time to relax, not have to carry that stigma of being a police officer. So they didn't want to be. They wanted to be in a club. They wanted to be in a real traditional motorcycle club. Now, if you could imagine 8 of us sitting around saying, let's start this club, we're going to get going, we got a patch, we'll be a traditional, old school, 3-piece club, mind your own business, not getting anyone else's business, be law abiding, obviously. That we had any inkling that one day we would be as big as we are, boy, you've been smoking dope or something. It just never crossed our mind. I mean, there wasn't enough beer to get our mindset around that. We just wanted to be a one chapter, ride around Louisville, have a clubhouse of our own, and basically be left alone. We wanted to be traditional and hardcore, meaning that we followed the real traditions and heritage of clubs from the 50s and mid to early 60s, before the drugs, and illegal activities got in the clubs. So the heritage and roots of how we roll and how we operate basically go back to that period in time when clubs really bonded together because they were kind of oddballs. They had a hobby that, riding motorcycles was not real cool. And they all got along, even the clubs within clubs, the Booze Fighters and the Market Street Commandos. And I mean, they basically got along with each other. And the Yellow Jackets, those older guys, you hear their stories. Well, that's what we wanted to found, and that's how we ran the club. But, our reputation for the things that we were doing good in the community, plus our independent mindedness, we had a single mindset that, we would be subservient to none. We would be law abiding. We would live under our rules. We would be, not beholden to any protocol or any other organization's rules and regulations, and not affiliated or associated with anybody else. We kind of wanted to mind our own business. Our reputation grew, and then we started getting inquiries, and, we kept saying, no, you're crazy. You really don't want to do this. But it just persisted. And I think after about 2 or 3 years in the Midwest, we just got enough interest from guys that genuinely wanted what we were doing and how we were doing it, that we grew. As time went on, it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we made mistakes. And we've all had the stub our toes learning as we went along, and the growing pains and whatever. But we had that stigma of allowing law enforcement in the club. We had stigma. We allowed, blacks in the club. Our rule was, if you can bleed for this country, if you can serve this country, you surely can wear a patch. And, we kind of broke a lot of the, molds, or rules, if you will, of the clubs that just didn't accept those traditions that we set for ourselves.
Right. Izod, is it fair to say, and just from some of my research and some of what I see, you guys get a lot of heat in the community and from the 1%er clubs and even some within the law-abiding biker community. I got to ask, what was that when you're starting this club? What's that conversation like? Because let me break it down. I'm the president of an LEMC. Okay, we wear a 3-piece patch, but we throw the LE on there. We're 100% LE. So to a certain extent, that's kind of the norm. They don't like it, but they're used to it, and there really ain't shit they can do about it, so to speak. Here you guys are, from my perspective, going, you know what? We're going to put a 3-piece patch on. We're not going to be 1%ers. We don't want that lifestyle, but you know what? We're free to do this, and we're going to wear the 3-piece patch. We're going to go out there. We're going to put ourselves out there. We're not going to go to the COC. I forget what that stands. I don't recognize that organization. Some Confederation of Clubs bullcrap or something.
Coalition of clubs that,
coalition. Yeah.
They all have a different name for it.
Just for our audience, I wanted to break that down because not everybody. So there's some organization that think they have some authority, but they don't. That deals with clubs. But anyway, so you guys aren't going to be involved with that. And what's that like? Because this had to be a huge conversation between you first 8.
Oh, amongst ourselves,
right? When you're starting going. Yeah,
that was not a tough conversation at all. It was, it wasn't even a debate. It was, that was the glue that held us together. Most of us had prior club experiences, either being on the fringe or being in a club, experiencing the mentality of a dominant club enforcing its will on other clubs, dictating where they can go, what they can wear, what the colors look like, whether they can have a 3-piece, 1-piece, 2-piece, 8-piece patch, what their who their membership is going to be, where they could ride with their cuts, where they couldn't, where if they can have a clubhouse or if they couldn't, or where they could have a clubhouse, or gosh, the list goes on and on and on. I'm shocked they don't tell them what kind of bike they could ride. But we single-mindedly said that as one voice, this is never going to happen. No one's going to tell us anything if it's not, a government authority. We know we all have to have licenses and registrations and insurance, and we can't speed and we can't drive drunk and all those things. That's the law. That's what we live by. That's what civilization is based on, civil law. But as far as any of the what we consider to be illegal, immoral, and unethical protocols that are forced upon others, that wasn't going to fly with us. So with a single voice and a single-mindedness, we went forward. There wasn't any debate, and it became the heart and soul of our club, and it is today. We make no bones about it. So how did those conversations go externally? That's probably a more interesting conversation, because internally it never has been a debate. We've never asked anybody permission for anything. We have in the past, out of courtesy, alerted other clubs that, hey, we're opening a chapter, or we're opening a clubhouse, or we'll be in the area or whatever. But as far as asking permission, 10 years and 6 months never has happened, and it's never going to happen in the future. The conversations outside of the club, those are typical. It's like, who are you guys? Who gave you permission? And standard answers is God Almighty. He made us Americans and free citizens, and that's a good enough answer for us. But basically, the First Amendment of the Constitution says we have the right to congregate peacefully. Does not say we have the right to congregate peacefully if, approved by Bobbledick MC COC organization. It doesn't say that. So standing on our rights and liberties as free living Americans, that's been our way of life. And we're not giving that up.
Amen to that. And I say any law-abiding biker club, and for the most part, the ones I have contact with, we don't recognize those organizations. And my suggestion to everybody out there is don't recognize those, because they have no authority, and we're free to wear what we want. So amen to that, Izod. Now I will say, you get a lot of military, we talk about back in the day, there's a lot of military coming out of Vietnam. They're not well taken. It's kind of a controversy. A lot of them end up going into 1%er clubs. That's changed today, which is maybe why your club has a draw. Can you elaborate on that?
Oh, sure. Back in my day, you came back from the NAM and, you weren't treated real well. There was a lot of rejection by society. That the entire country was, in its own upheaval against that war. Rejection, PTSD wasn't, even heard of. Displacement. Your families didn't want you, so they ended up drifting and looking for that brotherhood, camaraderie, and they ended up in a lot of the 1% clubs. Well, today is a different story. Our boys coming home from the Middle East are heroes. It isn't like in the 70s and the 60s. And they come back and they've got a great deal of pride for the service they gave the country. They got a great deal of pride for the uniform that they wore, what they fought for, what their friends lost their lives for. We talk about that on our website and within our club. Our brothers coming home with a leg blown off or an arm blown off. We take whatever steps we have to, including getting a bike modified to so they can ride and continue on. They come back and they're regarded as heroes, and they don't want to disgrace that uniform. They don't want to disgrace the service to this great country. They feel no one has a right to tell them anything. They put their ass on the line. They paid a price for the freedom that when they come back, they're not going to comply to protocols or, the immoral, unethical demands of others. Quite the opposite. They're going to want to do what they want to do because they fought for that freedom and the right, and they come to the Iron Order because of a lot of the good things that we do for the community. They have a great deal of pride of the charity work we do, the brotherhood that we really have. It's a genuine, solid brotherhood and camaraderie. I've heard Marines say, they're going cross country. They'll call a brother, I'm coming through Kansas City. never met the brother, never met the brother's wife, just passing through, need a place to stay. They'll get picked up, brought to a brother's total stranger's home, fed a meal, given a warm bed to stay in, probably a few cold beers and telling some biker lies and stories, and hit the road the next day. And they'll tell me, I was in the Marine Corps. I wouldn't take another Marine going across country, call me, said, I'm coming through. I was a Marine, and open my doors to him. Certainly my wife wouldn't do it. But in this brotherhood, that's a given. That's what we do. So they come to us and they enjoy that brotherhood and that ability to not have the stigma of a criminal organization or being involved in any criminal activity. So that's a big part of our club.
That's awesome. Well said. Well said. Now, your organization or the club takes the military. They take every walk of life. It sounds. It really doesn't matter what your career is. My question, Izod, is: do you allow criminals in your club? Because that's a question out there.
No. No. When you say criminals, if you have a felony conviction,
okay,
and we are so big. And let's face it, any organization, the Eagles Club, the Kiwanis, the JCs, for crying out loud, when you get so big, you have plenty of people all over the country with opportunity to do dumb things. Thankfully, we've never had a felony conviction of a brother in the club. We certainly know that we're not perfect and we make mistakes. And we've had people that came into our ranks that didn't pan out, that didn't measure up, and they got the boot. So we keep the criminal element out. We have zero tolerance for drugs of any kind. Even though I know Colorado has recreational drug use, it's still not allowed anywhere near us, because until it's federally legal and the issues are resolved all across the board, we understand even medical marijuana is a controversial deal that we treat no different than any other prescription drug, and we have zero tolerance for any illegal activity within the club, and that's just how we roll. So the answer to that is no. We have no tolerance for criminals within our organization.
And so obviously it's clear to assume that you guys do thorough background checks with new member applications.
Every member, once they accept the prospect status, has a background check. 90% of our brothers have a carry concealed weapons permit, which goes all the way to the federal government. So we're pretty thorough on it. Yes.
And just to put that in perspective, what I get from you is, okay, it's a large organization. I get it. As it gets bigger, it's harder to keep perfect control of everything. I get that. And so it would be, let's just use law enforcement for an example, is, I guess, for the community that's listening, is it's no different. There's a ton of police officers. There are some bad ones. The overall majority are good people, but you're always going to get a bad egg, and you can't control what every member does all over the world. Is that fair to?
No. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's what I was alluding to. We do our best. We do criminal background checks. We vet our members through a prospecting period. It's not an easy road. The laugh on the people that are adversarial to us is that we're a mail order house, that somehow you can send us, $500 and 3 box tops from your Cocoa Puffs, and we'll send you some patches. And keep your eye open. It'll probably come with your little Orphan Annie decoder ring somewhere in the mail, but I wouldn't count on it. But if you want to send us $500, cash is preferable, send it to us. It'll pleasantly be lost.
Yeah. You can send it to me too.
Yeah. But, it could take a year between your hang around period and your prospect period before you get a full patch. And during that period of time, we don't haze people. We treat them with dignity and respect. They're, expected to do menial tasks, if you will, keep up the clubhouse, 10 bar, watch bikes, just like every other motorcycle club in the world. But they're not hazed. They're not abused. And during that period of time, they have to learn our history. One of the important things about our heritage that we learned from other clubs is that, you have roots, you have a history. They need to know it in depth, because that's the heritage that they carry forward. And if you aren't to learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat. So that's number one. And number two, we get to know them pretty well, and they get to know us pretty well. So when that day comes that they got to take their oath, they understand the decision they're making, the organization that they're getting into, and we understand them pretty well. Now, even going through all that process, no different than a police officer going through the academy, getting on the street beat and become a detective, doesn't mean he's going to be a great cop his whole life. He could go errant. So it's true with us. And, we address it whenever it rears its ugly head. Of course, we take steps to weed the garden.
And so you guys internally have processes for dealing with those kinds of things?
Absolutely.
Now, people listening out there that might be interested in the club, what does a guy do that says, that's something I want to look into? What's their best route to contact you guys?
Well, if we're in your area, to be one, ask one. We welcome all questions. You're going to get honest, straightforward answers, respectfully. Do some research on the club. Go to our website, learn what you can, and then basically start hanging around. Come, to a few parties, get to know some of the brothers, ask the questions, and there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is one that's not asked. And if we're not around your area, and you want to pursue it, then contact us through the website, and there's ways of doing it. A nomad will be assigned to you to tutor you through your voyage, to your journey to join us, but there are ways to do it.
Okay, and that's American-made V-twin only, right?
No, not at all. It's cruiser-style V-twin, but it can be Japanese or British, as long as it's cruiser style. That's for the Iron Order.
Okay.
The Iron Rockets can take all the rest of the sport bikes, and that includes trikes and sidecars.
And speaking of trikes, you guys have done for military vets, may have had trauma during battle times and missing a limb or something, have done special controls and stuff for them?
Absolutely. If it's a modification to the bike, meaning electric shift or changing how the brakes and clutch have to be operated with one less limb, or if it means adding a sidecar, the club helps in all those cases. We had a brother out of Utah. He lost a leg out in the oil fields in an industrial accident, and we got him a sidecar. So, we take care of our own.
That's awesome. You guys are huge. We've talked a little bit about that. You're international. It's almost like it could become a business. Is it a business? Is it a 501c3, nonprofit? Because it has to be huge to have that many clubhouses, and so there's got to be a lot of finances involved. Tell us a little bit about this.
I can. No, it's a motorcycle club. It's an MC. We're huge, but our dues are $5 a month, and $3 goes to the operating fund for the club, and $2 goes to a brotherhood fund. We have a brotherhood fund for all brothers and their families. So we have a death benefit. When a brother passes on, we help the family pay for the funeral. We also have scholarships for both our male and female grandkids, that's open to. So the Brotherhood Fund is entirely separate from how we operate the club. The club just runs on peanuts. The chapters run independently, so it is not a business. We never did it. We never started or founded the club like that. I think the first 2 years we didn't even have dues. Chapters decided what they wanted to support their clubhouses and whatnot. Of course, we have patches, and we have the biggest, baddest rally every year over Memorial Day weekend. This past Memorial Day weekend, we had 3 Dog Night, and we had the Guess Who and Bag Lady Sue, and we had the Flaunt Girls from Full Throttle Saloon, the TV show, as our entertainment. So that's where the money goes. It goes right back to the brothers in the form of our big rally, where guys come from all over the world to participate.
So, because I'm personally interested in the clubhouses, that's got to be, is that come out of regular dues, or is each chapter responsible to start their own clubhouse? Because you guys have like huge, legitimate clubhouses. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I think we've got about 200.
Wow.
North of 200, coast to coast. Yeah, the chapters take care of that themselves. They're totally independent. They pull their pennies together, and they set up their own dues to support it, and off it goes. And our clubhouses, they're open pretty much. They're just our place to get away. We have our meetings there, obviously, but it's Monday night football or poker games, or it's just our place to hang out and have a good time.
Now, I got to ask you some questions here, Izod, and we'll just be straightforward here because there's a lot of questions. I'm looking right now. You guys are big. We've talked a little bit about, why you might be getting some of the extra heat. Because as I look at it, as far as law-abiding biker clubs go, I don't see the attention that you guys get. You guys draw an enormous amount of negative attention. It's really how you look at it, whether you consider it negative. Let me expand on that a little bit. I'm looking here and I don't see this for any other law-abiding biker clubs, like I say, but I'm looking here at 2 different Facebook pages. Now, one, and I'm not giving them credit, guys. I'll tell you off my particular opinion is these Facebook pages are a bunch of an idiot running them, because if you have enough time to put up a hate page, then you don't have a job and you're probably just sitting around in your basement anyways. But the first one is IOMC, Iron Order MC, The Real Truth. And then I'm looking at another one that's called Iron Order Sucks Too. Did I say that one? Yeah, those are the 2. And these particular people put so much attention on you guys that they're willing to post and make Facebook pages. Let's talk about that first, why this is that you guys get so much love.
Isn't it? It's great to have all that attention,
You've arrived. That's what they say, especially if you start, a lot of bloggers and people that do podcasts like me, and it's kind of in the industry, they say, you really haven't arrived until people start sending you hate mail. And so I know I've arrived because I do get some of that. And so, be proud of it because you've arrived. But from you really have a lot of involvement. You're one of the first 8. Roll with that, man. Tell us what you're thinking about this.
You're right. I mean, we've lived with this. This isn't something new. It just technology's gotten different. We've lived with this really for about 8 years of our existence. It started with bikernews.net and White Trash Network back in the early 2006, 2007. Then it moved to Topics. Topics, TOPIX, became a hot social media. And then it went to MySpace, and now it's Facebook. And I don't know what the next gyration, maybe it'll be 3D holographic, space. I don't know. But the Hells Angels have a hate page. The Outlaws have a hate page. All the clubs do. We're law-abiding, and so they are morons. If you believe anything at all that's on them, you're a brick shy of a load. It's just amazing the things that they write on there. Where they come up with it, I have no idea, but it doesn't matter. They say what they say, and there's probably 100 of them. A lot of them have fake Facebook pages. You could always tell them because you go to their Facebook, there's no photos, there's no history. It's just a bunch of clip art. That's one guy that may have 5 or 6 of those set up, and he's just bantering with himself. We look at it like those idiots want to spend their time hating on us. God bless them. It don't mean nothing to us. We don't acknowledge it. We don't talk about it much to speak of, other than for amusement. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, somebody put out there on the internet that we were waiting for the results from Jacksonville before we put a 1% diamond on it, and we were going 1%. It's just, absolute ludicrousy. And so the only thing I can say is I feel sorry for them because they got nothing better to do. We're out on our bikes. We're at our clubhouses. We're out partying. We don't have a whole lot of time to be playing on the internet like those people. It gives them something to do, and maybe it keeps them off the street. Maybe it keeps them from harming themselves. I know that they don't show a whole lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
It is what it is, and we live with it.
You're right. I agree. Looking at it here, it's a bunch of ridiculous stuff. But I guess one of my main questions on that, Izod, is I don't see the other law-abiding biker clubs with hate pages. Why are they picking on you? Is it because you're so large? Is it because you guys are out there in their face? Or, I don't want to put words in your mouth. What do you think that is?
Well, basically because we are so large and so successful, and we do live the walk. We just don't talk it. Obviously, we have a long history to show that we are what we are. And the only way these people hiding behind the keyboard in their safety of their basement, they're naked down there wondering why their dick is orange because they're eating Cheetos, But, this is what they do. They don't come up to us. Never in the history of a club in 10 years has one of these people come up to us and said, I'm Junkyard Big Dog. and I'm the guy who said, I'm going to take all your cuts and I'm here to do it. They don't do that. It's bravado, and they're safe, and we're law abiding, so we don't go hunt them down or do anything stupid with them. We don't give them any of our time. So why is basically the fact that we're so successful, that we hold true to our values. A lot of it could be jealousy. A lot of it are support clubs that, that they have some word that, we didn't earn our patches. I don't know what that means. No one told us where the forms were to fill out and where to mail them in and who's going to approve them. And do we get a certificate for that? Or, who approves, our club? And what do we do when we do get approved? Do we have to every year resubmit, for reauthorization? Or, I don't know how that all works. I really don't care. And our whole club feels that way. It's that simple. And that's why they hate us. They're running around with a one piece, or they're living a life that we choose not to. And our side of the fence, God bless them. They're free to do whatever they want, whatever makes them happy. And we encourage them and support their decisions on whatever they do, because they have a free and right to do so. But on the other side of the coin, respect our rights and our liberties and our choices, because, that's just how we roll. And we feel, on both sides, there's room for both of us. So, we're not going to answer their antagonism and their anger and their hate with the same. On our side, we wish them well. We wish them no harm. We hope they can find themselves and get a life, maybe get a job.
Yeah.
Or, the guys that administrate those things, they spend 24/7. We see them posting at 3:00 in the morning sometimes. And we don't look at them. People send it to us. And they go, can you believe these guys? They don't know you. The interesting thing about them, they'll say they are 100% for freedom of speech, but you'll never see anybody posting in our favor because they edit all that out. We know, because we get copies of that stuff sent to us. And they said, can you believe it? They won't. No, they won't, because it's a one-track mind. They think over the last 8 years, they really believe they can undermine and destroy the IOMC with their hate pages. And really what they do is make us stronger, because a person finds those hate pages like yourself and they go, wait a minute, what's this all about? Who are these guys? Why do they hate them? You end up going to our website. You'll kind of read through it. Then the bell will go off and say, I can understand why these people hate them. And then you may make contact and say, hey, I'm interested in your club. I really want to know what you're about. Next thing you know, you might be starting a new chapter, or you might be joining our ranks. And all that is done is accelerate our growth, got our name out to a lot more people. And on the other side, it provides a filter. And it's a really good filter for us, because if you believe the bullshit that these people write, we don't want you around us. You're not smart enough to be IO material. If you have any inkling to join that ranks, there's places for you. Look, there's hundreds of clubs out there that fall into that. Find a place over there and focus your energies and your time and effort into your club that you're putting on these web pages, and your club will grow and you'll be in a better place, certainly. And that's the way we look at it.
Will said, I guess what I would say for the audience is, when you're seeing this kind of stuff, and everybody's smart out there that listens to this in the law-abiding biker community, but don't believe these type of things. Here, I went out because I actually got in contact with a very good source here, Izod, and give him a chance, to answer some of these questions and have a say and that kind of thing. And you'll see these other blogs, they won't do that. They don't want to hear, even because it's not what they want to hear, and it defeats their purpose. So hopefully by getting a lot of this information out is helpful for everybody. And hopefully everybody's aware it's unbiased, because I do have a few more questions. So now I'm looking here, Izod, some of the stuff, I type in Iron Order and I look at the pictures and images. I know you're aware, but let me tell the audience what I'm looking at. So I know you guys are out there into the club life. You're into the traditional type club life. Aside from 1%er, you're a law-abiding biker club. However, you like to party, you like to drink, you like to get a little rowdy, which is all within your rights. So again, I'm just being the moderator here. but I see a lot of pictures here with a lot would say in the law-abiding biker community, not necessarily me. I've got pretty thick skin. I don't really give a crap. I say each to his own, but I'm seeing pictures here of girls, and I'm seeing your chapters with, rifles and holding up pistols, and I'm seeing the cut with guns on them and all this kind of stuff. So I guess the question would be not from me, but from emails I've received. And again, I haven't answered it, and this will answer those questions for everybody. Is that an image that you want to portray, or is that just second because guys are just taking pictures within their rights? Does the club care about that image? Because that's going to be some of the biggest question. I think you're a very intelligent guy and you're aware of that. People see those pictures, even in the law-abiding biker community, like that club is not a law-abiding biker club if they're posting stuff like that. What say you?
Good question, and I appreciate the opportunity to answer it. First off, there are a lot of crazy, wild pictures. Getting crazy drunk riding through a campsite at 3 o'clock in the morning naked singing Freebird is not beyond our membership, okay? All right. So
you're open and honest. You're transparent. And that's what we like here.
We have a brother. His name's Naked Dave. I don't think I've ever seen him with a stitch of clothes on, okay? These guys stopping on the side of the road, washing their clothes in a stream and going skinny dipping and taking a bath in a lake. That's what we do. There's pictures of guys with kids where we do charity work and we have Halloween costumes and all those crazy pictures that are just twisted, distorted, and made out to be something vile and despicable. That's those people. That's what they make out of a bunch of guys acting like a bunch of degenerate. You would find the same thing in any frat house on any college campus at any given day. It's just fun. It's just craziness. And, there are no rules when there's no rules at our club, in our clubhouse or in our campsites when we're breaking loose. Now, on the other pictures, those are private pictures. And I use that word, man, with great pain, because there was a time a picture like that would have been on hard copy only, wouldn't have electronic copy. And you would say, they go to the gun range. Our guys definitely carry firearms. I'd say 85-90% of them have a CCW, and they exercise their Second Amendment rights. No question about that. They love to go to the firing range. They take these pictures. They're private pictures. And what happens? Well, somebody sends somebody an email with a picture, and it gets sent to somebody else who's not a friend of the club, and then it ends up on the haters pages. You don't see it on any of our websites. You don't see it on any of our chapter websites, because we don't allow it. It's not what we're about. Now, do those pictures exist? Obviously, you're looking at them, and they're not malicious. They're not gangbanger pictures. They're a bunch of guys showing off their Machado with firearms that probably was in bad taste. But again, they were not meant for the internet. It was not in the picture you're looking at. It's a black and white still that dates back about 6 years. And unfortunately, when I told you earlier that when a guy doesn't measure up and he's drummed out of the club, sometimes they got a big chip on their shoulder, and all clubs face this. And the first thing they do is they turn into a hater, and anything on their hard drive now goes out to the internet. On our side, what do we think about it? It is not an image that we portray. It is not us. We don't have automatic weapons in our clubhouses. We have enough law enforcement membership as well. In the early days, I'll tell you a funny story. We were actually infiltrated by an undercover cop.
I was gonna ask this. I didn't hear about this, but this is great. Yeah. Hey, Bikeaholics and listeners alike, the show is still going strong because of a lot of hard work and your support, of course. Thanks to all those loyal listeners and true friends of the show that have supported us or are supporting us. For less than a coffee a month, you can help support us too and put a little fuel in the law-abiding biker gas tank to make sure this show keeps moving on down the road. So, calling all law-abiding bikers, head over to our Patreon page and take action today. You can do so at lawabidingbiker.com/Patreon, Patreon. Oh, did I mention there's benefits too? From all your friends at lawabidingbiker.com, we appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and ride safe. Oh my goodness, guys. I really, really hope you enjoyed that. I know I learned a lot, and I know you guys did too. That's right. It was a long interview, so we're going to break it into two parts for you guys. So that was part one of the Ray Lubesky, Izod from the IOMC. And we'll do part 2 coming up, guys. So stay tuned for the next episode with the rest of that interview. We've got a lot more to go, and you guys are really going to be interested in what he has to say. So appreciate it, guys. Don't forget, you too can get involved. Just hit us up, lawabidingbiker.com/voicemail if you want to leave a voicemail right from your computer anywhere in the world. Of course, we have the listener hotline from your phone, 509-731-3548. Appreciate the support, guys. Don't forget to get on that email club I send out when we have new free videos and stuff. Keep you guys in the loop, lawabidingbiker.com/email club. All right, guys, you saw how easy it was. We want to learn about your club. If you guys do decide to interview, you get a couple things because of that. You get to you get a permanent spot on our website, and it's growing, and it looks really sharp, and you can direct people to that episode. And I know that's what clubs in the past have done. It'll be a permanent episode. And you can, when people are interested in your club, oh, you want to learn about us? Here you go. And you just give them the link or the episode number, and you get that special place with a little description of your club. And let's make it the hub, guys. Let's make this the hub for the law-abiding biker revolution. That's right, bitches. You heard it. All right. Peace out. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Thanks so much for listening. Now quit sitting around and get out there and freaking ride already.